So let's talk about the game on Saturday. How the hell did they run the ball for 330 yards?
They stopped running inside zone. I'll tell you that. They scrapped that play out of the playbook, and that was a beautiful thing. I had to slap myself a couple times over the weekend to make sure what I was seeing was actually real life. I just didn't think this team would find a way to just have that dominant performance in the run game, and that's exactly what they did. I think we talked about it time and time again. We haven't scratched everything we can scratch. We haven't pulled everything to the deep depths of the playbook and pulled out everything we could pull out. And we got to some plays that really worked, and you saw that. I think the question we always had to start the season, an identity, we finally found that. Pulling plays, get these big athletic linemen pulling, whether it's one guy, whether it's two guys, get those guys blocking down and pulling around and let our backs find a crease and hit that thing hard. And I think what you also saw is it allowed Max not to have to play his tail off and throw for 400, 500 yards. He could, use those RPOs. I think that was a beautiful play they did to Dre Jenkins in the fourth quarter. The misdirection play, that was just a beautiful drawn-up play. Those are the things that you want to see from an offensive coordinator in an offense. So that was a beautiful thing to watch last Saturday for sure.
Have they been running that counter with pulling guards at all this year? I mean, or is that something that they kind of put in? And why so much more effective on Saturday than it's been all year?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to that Mississippi State game, we kind of saw flashes and bursts of TDP, and I think the play before the Keyshawn Booty long touchdown was that very play. Two guards, a guard and tackle pulling around, and I think TD popped a 15-yarder. And we just really couldn't get back to it consistently enough to really, like I said, make that our identity. But I think for me, watching Marlon Martinez go out there and Anthony Bradford, they made a big jump in the run game. Those guys were moving people around, pulling around, and they did not have good intention. So I think you keep those two guys out there. I know Chasen's played a ton of snaps, but Martinez, to me, he played his tail off last Saturday.
Sometimes in this line of work, whether it's a guest or a co-host, you know the answer to a question, but you ask it just to hear the answer. Obviously, we know the answer, but I'll throw it to you. TDP gets 36 carries in this game. We talk about running back by committee, but sometimes guy just gets stronger as the game gets on. He just wants the ball again. I know you've been in that situation, and we saw it on Saturday.
Yeah, that's a running back dreams, man. You cut on the Madden, you cut on the NCAA football game, you're giving it to yourself over and over and over. It's just a dream you have, and I think for TDP, it just gave him a world of confidence, especially last week. I think I asked you on the pregame show, was that a fluke? And you said, well, it's to be determined, and obviously it wasn't. Those things that they started doing in the second half, it gave that offense line confidence, it gave Pete's confidence, and it gave TDP confidence. He just – to me, I saw it last week. He just had a little more aggression, a little more burst, a little more want to, and that just carried over right into the Florida game. He just ran with aggression, and you don't break school records every day with the amount of backs we had coming through LSU. That's a huge accomplishment for him, and I think he can carry that on through the season.
Is it something that other teams can put the tape on and put a stop to, or is it something that we've kind of found as kind of a breakthrough and we'll continue to build off of it?
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing about that particular play is normally, like I've ran that play before, especially in the NFL, you got to have a guy blocking the backside end, but they weren't squeezing down on TDP for some reason. They were just sitting there and not squeezing down behind the tackler and just kind of reading Max and looking at Max. All you have to do is tell your end to just follow the tackle. As soon as you see him pulling, just follow him. You got a free tackle in the backfield. But the thing that I love that Pete's was doing, he had RPO behind it, so they had to respect that. And then Max could still pull it, so you really can't just go down that line and follow the tackle. So it's going to be up to these defensive coordinators. Obviously, there's a counter to everything. You can, run blitz that play. There's so much stuff you can do, but with the way college football is going, with all these RPO stuff behind stuff, it makes guys really have to set and wait a second. And in that second you wait, the back is running through the line, as you saw TDP doing.
I thought a perfect illustration of that was on the fourth down play at the end to Jenkins. Max play actions. 3 Florida players are unblocked in the backfield. They all crash on TDP. Max peels out of it and hits Jenkins wide open. They all committed to that run because LSU had shown they can do it. And I think that's maybe the most important thing. Winning's the most important thing, but right behind it there is now teams are going to have to respect the run because LSU's at least shown that they have the ability to do it. Prior to that, they didn't. You could just kind of stand up there, let them run into the line of scrimmage and fall, but you can just make sure you cover your wide receivers on the outside and then blitz after Max and get the ball out. Now you got to respect LSU running the football anymore, which